Hello and welcome to Board to Life. Today, we will be going over the Armageddon box for Warhammer 40k. This is my first video going over Warhammer 40k, as well as the first video in a series I'm doing using this box, among other tools, in order to explain how to start 40k in 11th edition. You don't have to have gotten this box to follow along later on, but that's what I will be using. So, Armageddon, the box, this is specifically the limited edition version, which has more stuff in it. There will be a cheaper, less limited version later on, but this is the pre-order version and is what we'll be doing. So for this first video, we will be unboxing the Armageddon box for 40k. To begin, we will take a look at the outside of the box. So we have our main cover art. We have some more on the side of the Space Marines. We have more of a standard thing on the shorter sides, and then we also have the Space Marines on the other long side. As to the back of the box, I think that should all be visible, hopefully. Otherwise, it's going to be a little bit unhelpful. But we have, and the glare doesn't seem too bad, but we have the Space Marine side over here, the Orc side over here, and it tells us what it contains. I'm not going to read through everything it contains. If you'd like to, you can pause and do so. But I'm not going to read through it because we're going to be going through it in this video. So let us go ahead and open it. I have my little knife here. Just taking off these two pieces of tape that are sealing it. And we will open it. So removing the cover, we are immediately greeted with a lot of gray stuff, as one does. Okay, so we have our bag of bases, quite a few in there, since it's all the bases for the whole box, unless actually we're missing the bases for the larger vehicles, which will probably be in the bottom. So we'll go through these sprues one by one, and if I did a good job editing, you should see the picture of the actual models on the screen. So to start, we have what looks to be a chaplain on this sprue, the ancient, and the Gravis armor devastators. That's what they are. Next, we have a small single sprue, which appears to be the weird boy. We then have a larger sprue, which I believe is the war track. That's 3 different pieces. So it's kind of a mix between the Orcs and the Space Marines. Here we have what looks to be the Orc big boss, or actually war boss, I think. Yeah, that's the war boss, as well as the Space Marine captain. We then have another Orc sprue, which appears to be the Pain Boy on this side and the Banner Knob on the other side. And then I've heard really good things about this sprue, but this is the Land Speeder, and I believe this is one of the few parts of this box that actually has customization available. So when you get these boxes, it's always a better deal than buying all the set models individually. However, you do have the disadvantage of the less customization available, which if you're just starting isn't the biggest deal anyway, because it's a good way to get a lot of stuff. But if you're trying to get specific things or more posability, it's not. This is the Intercessor Squad. There should be 10 of them. I'm not sure if they're all on that sprue, but I would think so. And then we have the Vanguard veterans with the jump packs and power swords. I think that's all that's on the sprue. Actually, wait. That staff is the librarian, so the librarian might be on the sprue as well. Yeah, because there's his little base extension. So the Vanguard veterans and librarian on that one. And then we have what appears to be 10 of our Orc boys. And another sprue with another 10 of our Orc boys. Get that on the camera all the way. And for our final sprue, we have the Big Mech Docker Rig. It's our big flashy centerpiece model. And then, as I said, there probably would be earlier, we have our larger bases for the Docker rig, and then the land speeder and war track. So let's set those off to the side. And I'm going to take this section out, and we'll be right back. Now, as I took this section out of the box, below it we have the transfer sheet, and that fell out. So I'll show that off real quick if I can get it in less glare. So we have our transfer sheet with all the Space Marine transfers, all the Orc transfers, and we have different factions of Orc and Space Marine on here. So looks like Blood Angels and Ultramarines, and then Bad Moons, Evil Suns, the Goths. So a couple more options for the Orcs on transfers. And then we have this section here, which I will open up, and this should be where we have our cards as well as the books, both the rule book and the lore book for Armageddon. And we'll flip through some of those. So let's start with the books. So first we have Operation Imperator, which is our lore book. Not extremely thick. I believe it's like 150 pages or somewhere in there. Let's take a little flip through it. Ooh, we have unfolding pages. That's both interesting and a hazard. We have some stuff on the different hives, the different battles, various factions in there. Mostly Space Marines and Orcs, but some on the other factions. Got some maps, all that stuff. It's a very nice book. We even have like the, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but especially the glare. But this is always like a little shinier than the rest of it. Same with the Space Marine part of the front, not the stuff in the background, but just the Space Marine. And then we have our instructions on how to assemble all these models, which we will be doing a video on how to assemble models in general, not specifically for this box, but I will be using this box as an example. So if you want to assemble any models, what you'll need and how to do that in a somewhat convenient way. We then have the core rules, which, though these are a softcover paperback book this time, they are still quite nice and actually rather sturdy for that kind of book. And the front's always going to be shiny with these. But if you haven't read the PDF, it's the same as the PDF online. It's not something you really need to buy outside of this box if you get your components outside of this. It's like $25 or something, I think, on their web store. To buy just the book, I'd say just go with the PDF in that one. We then have these data cards for all of our units in the box. If I can get them open. Here, we'll come back in a second when I have it open. That one was actually kind of tricky to open without damaging it. Now finally, we will show off the Dominatus deck, which is the, I guess, alternative to the narrative campaigns that we had in the past. You have played the game in the past, previous editions. So the Dominatus deck is going to have a variety of things, including a little manual as to how the campaigns will run. If I can get that to focus for a second. And then we have various different, I guess, items that you could acquire throughout this campaign, various missions, battle honors, achieved agendas that you might have to do, different locations, and I guess a campaign map. That's what that looks like. It's a little map of the games you'd play to get through the campaign and ways you'd get points in the campaign. Okay, so that was the Armageddon box for 40k, the unboxing part of it. Thank you for watching, and I hope we can see you in the next one, where we will go through the components you will need to start assembling your models, and how to go about doing so if you've never done it before. I will also, in that video, be assembling all the models from the box in a time-lapse or such form. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.